All right, so what is a Hijra? Hijra is a term given to eunuchs, intersex people, and transgender people in the Indian subcontinent. They prefer to call themselves Kinar, referring to the mythological beings that excel at song and dance. Song and dance. Hijras are officially recognized as third gender. Most countries now do have official third gender options on birth certificates, driver's licenses, and even now death certificates. So they got you covered. Neither completely male nor female. Hijras have a recorded history in the Indian subcontinent from antiquity onwards, as suggested by the Kama Sutra period. This isn't really about transgender celebrities. That's not really what my channel is about. It goes much deeper than that. So this is a good example of a video where I can incorporate some historical context to something that's happening today. So the history of Hijras, they're basically tranny hookers, all right? The ancient Kama Sutra mentions the performance of fellatio by feminine people of a third sex. Now in the Bible, they're called Kadesh in Hebrew. And in English, they translate that as sodomites. But we see that the androgynous gods and the androgynous people who channel those gods, you might even call them demons, right? They channel these demons. That's what's going on. It was going on 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. It's in the Bible, all right? And other historical documents. And it's happening today, right in the comfort of your own home, every time you turn on the television. All right. This passage has been variously interpreted as referring to men who desired other men, so-called eunuchs, those disguised as males, and those that are disguised as females. Male and female trans people, the male takes on the appearance of a female, and the female takes on the appearance of the male. Or two kinds of biological males, one dressed as a woman, the other as a man. Franciscan travelers in the 1650s noted the presence of men and boys who dress like women. Well, I've noticed those same kind of people. The presence of these individuals was taken to be a sign of the city's depravity. During the era of the British Raj, authorities attempted to eradicate Hijras, whom they saw as a breach of public decency. Anti-Hijra laws were repealed, but a law outlawing castration, a central part of the Hijra community, was left intact, though rarely enforced. They were labeled a criminal tribe. Many practice a form of syncretism that draws on multiple religions, seeing themselves to be neither men nor women. Hijras practice rituals for both men and women, okay? They practice rituals, and in fact, you're going to see in the documentary, it says they do rituals for marriages and for childbirth. Like the tranny shows up and blesses the people or possibly curses them. Hijras belong to a special caste. They are usually devotees of the mother goddess, the queen of heaven, Bahuchara Mata, Lord Shiva, or both, goddess of chastity and fertility, the patroness of the Hijra community. It's Ishtar, riding a chicken. Look at that. It's riding a chicken. Got the tranny god sitting on top of a chicken, holding the trident. A sword. Yeah, it's very similar to the Ishtar, Inanna. Okay, so you can read more about that yourself. It gets a little boring if I just read all the time, I guess. But, okay, so here's some Hijras. Now, these are very poor people, right? So they don't look very feminine at all. They're just putting on makeup and women's clothing. So they cannot afford to have any facial feminization surgery or hormones or anything like that. So they're pretty nasty looking, actually, these ones here. But I wouldn't be surprised if 4,000 years ago in the ancient world, amongst the Canaanites and all these people, the Zidonians, the Kadesh, written about in the Bible, the Sodomites, the tranny hookers back in the day, priests, right? These people have a religious function. They're channeling the demons, all right? And all, if you read about, magic and witchcraft and sorcery and alchemy and Freemasonry and Kabbalah, all these people, they all talk about androgyny being some kind of pathway towards divinity because they're transcending the binary, dualistic material world, right? Light and dark, good and evil, whatever, male and female, right? They're transcending all that and they're androgynous, so they're neither male nor female. They are what they believe to be divine. And the gods are in the Bible, small g gods, are just rebellious entities who are trying to fool us into thinking that they're gods. In fact, Yahweh assigned the gods to rule over the world after the Tower of Babel. And then Yahweh himself was going to create his own group of people, starting with Abraham and so forth. There's God's kingdom, and there's these small g gods are setting up their own kingdom. And this is basically what it looks like. So there's a very spiritual aspect to this, a very religious aspect, a demonic aspect. In fact, really, that's the main aspect, really. India's trans women community, or Hijra, has been a part of the subcontinent for about as long as civilization has, with a recorded history of over 4,000 years, and being mentioned in ancient texts. The Hijra community is a testament to the sexual diversity that is integral, yet often forgotten in Indian culture. Okay, look at that. There's a tranny god. I'm not sure which god that is, but look at that. It's doing the swinging out the hip, and look, it's got one breast there and one male breast over there. So this is a androgynous god, and swinging the butt out. It looks exactly like modern day celebrities who swing out one side of their hip and the other one's male. I mean, this is it right here. This is the original tranny right here. So even the legs are wearing different clothes. The New York Times, here's some Hijras. Yeah, see, they're pretty low-budget trannies. They're never going to make it in Hollywood. But this is probably what they looked like 4,000 years ago. They're just wearing women's clothes, a bit of makeup, hairstyle, that's all it is. So they're not passable at all, but yet they're tranny hookers. They're the Kadesh. They're priests and prostitutes serving their gods. That's what's going on, and the same thing's going on today. When Lord Rama was exiled from Ayodhya and his entire kingdom began to follow him into the forest, he told his disciples, "Men and women, please wipe your tears and go away." So they left. Still, a group of people stayed behind at the edge of the forest because they were neither men nor women. They were Hijras, which in Urdu means something like eunuchs. These people waited in the woods for 14 years until Lord Rama returned, which won them a special place in Hindu mythology. Today's Hijras, who include transgender and intersex people, it's mainly male to female trannies, all right? Like 99.9%, that's what it is. Same as in Hollywood. Are hard to miss. Dressed in glittering saris, their faces heavily coated in cheap makeup, they sashay through crowded intersections, knocking on car windows with the edge of a coin and offering blessings. They dance at temples. They dance at temples today, right? These are the Kadesh, the modern day Kadesh. Nothing's changed. They crash fancy weddings and birth ceremonies, singing bawdy songs and leaving with fistfuls of rupees. Many Indians believe Hijras have the power to bless or curse, and Hijras trade off this uneasy ambivalence. Yeah, see, they're sorcerers, man. They're witches. They're warlocks. Oh my God, the Hijras are here, performing blessings, begging on trains, and through sex work. Hijras maintain their own somewhat secretive subculture. In Hinduism, Hijras were once revered as demigods. Okay, right, look at that. Right there, it says it, demigods, which is basically a wannabe god, okay? They're wannabes. There's one. The demigods have arrived. The Hijra, an institutionalized third gender role in India, is neither male or female, containing elements of both. Born intersexed and impotent. Well, no, they're just born men, all right? They're tranny hookers. They're not impotent. Unable themselves to reproduce, Hijras can, through the emasculation operation, transform their liability into a source of creative power which enables them to confer blessings of fertility on others. The link between the Hindu theme of creative asceticism and the role and power of the Hijras is explicitly articulated in the myths connecting them to their major point of religious identification, their worship of Bhuchara Mata, and her requirement that they undergo emasculation, castration. The They become trannies. Emasculation is the dharma, caste duty of the Hijras and the chief source of their uniqueness. The Hijras carried out in a ritual context in which the client sits in front of a picture of the goddess Bahuchara and repeats her name while the operation is being performed. A person who survives the operation becomes one of Bahuchara Mata's favorites, serving as a vehicle of her power through their symbolic rebirth. While the most popular image of Bahuchara is that of the goddess riding on a cock, Shah suggests that her original form of worship was the yantra, a conventional symbol for the vulva. So in childbirth, they perform rituals on newborn children. They inspect the genitals of the infant whom they hold in their arms as they dance. The Hijras confer fertility, prosperity, and health on the infant and family. Sounds like a Kadesh, right? The eunuch transvestite role of the Hijras links them not only to the mother goddess, but also to Shiva through their identification with Arjuna, the hero of the Mahabharata. Arjuna, in the disguise of eunuch transvestite, participates in weddings and births, thus provides a further legitimization for the ritual context in which the Hijras perform. Sexual abstinence, which Hindu mythology associates with the powers of the ascetic, is in fact the very source of the Hijras' powers. The Hijras themselves recognize this connection. They frequently refer to themselves as sannyasin, the person who renounces his role in society for the life of a holy wanderer and beggar. A holy, Kadesh, unholy, actually. There's a Hijra. People we might consider transgender have existed across societies for as long as they themselves have existed, but in South Asia, they have formed distinct communities with histories and mythologies that go back hundreds, if not thousands of years. Kama Sutra refers to eunuchs, and there are tales of gods, even the most powerful of them, who change genders on a whim. All right, now we do have this also in Greek and Roman mythology. So these people are like channeling powers through them from the gods to the common people. They're demonic priests.
Hijras are neither man nor woman, but we enjoy the femininity of the world. And if it goes, technical ways, transgender is the umbrella term, and we are the oldest ethnic transgender community, which we have our own culture, our own family setup, our own way of functioning, and we are, religiously, we are known as divine, demigods. We have the power to curse, we have power to bless, and yeah, I use it at times, the powers, when I wanted to curse at the officials, but of course now people are going.
And yet, while there is a demigod status to Hijras, you're also reviled by mainstream society.
Of course, yes.
Because of the colonization of India.
Because the British ripped everything away. Our property, our money, our land, our houses, everything was taken away. And then the Hijras were only left to beg or sell their body, or to do the traditional blessing work, and that only helped.
Weddings and funerals.
Not funerals.
Weddings and childbirth. Traffic lights.
Yeah,
we see them
so
begging.
that is begging.
ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. முதல் புடவை கட்டும்போது பெண்ணா உணர்ந்தேன்.
Hijra are now a politically recognized third gender, a category of people whose identity is neither male nor female. They began their lives as one gender, but have physically transitioned to another. Dana is one of the estimated 2 million Hijra in India.
I was born a man, now I'm a woman. I did a sex change, so I'm a transsexual woman.
In India, Hijra have a recorded history of more than 4,000 years. Royal courts held them in high regard, and sacred Hindu texts describe them in bright sari and delicate jewelry, bestowing them with special powers to bring luck and fertility.
The Hijras are considered to be an incarnation, another form of Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva and Lord Shakti. So every new thing that happens, a transgender is there.
These revered Hijra traditions do continue, and some of Dana's friends have invited us to see the Hijra offer a blessing.
Newly married couple goes first to a transgender, get their blessings and start their life. A newborn baby is first given to a transgender, and the baby is being blessed.
At first, the baby isn't as welcoming to his new guest. But soon he is mesmerized by the magical dance and song of the Hijra deities. Good fortune has arrived.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವು ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ರಾಜರ ಕಾಲಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಇವರು ಅವ್ರ ಅಂತಃಪುರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಸುಮಾರು ಕಡೆ
ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ನೈಟು 6 ವರ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಏನು ಮಾಡೋ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ
ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗನಾಗಿದೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಅದು ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಆಗಿಯೇ ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಇವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಸರ್ಜರಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೂದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಇರೋಣ
She'll let you in her house if you knocking late at night. She'll let you in her mouth if the words you say are right. If you pay the price, she'll let you deep inside. But there's a secret garden she hides. She'll lead you down a path. There'll be death in the air. She'll let you come just far enough so you know she's there. She'll look at you and smile, and her eyes will say she's a secret inside. She's a secret